If you don't have a song that has some kind of emotional value, what are you writing? Like what?
Yeah. What are Buck Cherry? Come on, man.
Yeah, what are you, Buck
Hey,
Cherry?
stop. Crazy Bitch was so emotional for me.
I don't know, man. I still feel like my darkest days really hit my soul when I heard Porn Star Dancing. There was nothing more emotional than that song. Just hearing Chad Kroger talk about strippers.
You're listening to the Media Man Dan podcast, your place for music, movies, news, reviews, and interviews. Welcome to the show. Get ready to rock. Let's rock!
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Media Man Dan podcast. Today, I have an awesome band that you probably haven't heard of before because they are super fresh, super new, and killing the scene right now. This is Chasing Supernovas. And man, is that a badass name. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's up? Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have LA Sky and Kyle of the band with me here, and we are going to talk about their musical journey and just shoot the shit because that is how my interviews go. So first of all, the easiest question in every interview, and I have to say it's probably my favorite one to start breaking the ice. How are you? How are you?
Good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing good, besides the M80s going off in the background because 4th of July is tomorrow, you know.
Yes. I'm
Gotta
a
be-
little sunburnt today.
Oh,
I
did you?
actually went outside. That's a
No-
big thing for me.
That's not common.
No.
I'm an
No.
I'm an inside person except for when I'm walking or mowing the lawn. That's the only times I want to go out.
I'm an inside person unless it has to do with a concert or one of my own shows.
Oh, those are also excellent. Yes, I would
Yeah.
say for concerts as well. Yeah, I would go outside for a
Yeah.
concert.
The same.
All right.
I live outside sometimes. I have a Harley, so I kind of have to go. I'm like required to. It's in my license.
You have to go outside.
Yeah, I have to.
All right. Now, I need to know, how did you guys come up with the name Dear Frida? That was the last project before Chasing Supernovas.
Well, actually, we'll give you both. Do you want to
Yeah.
take this one?
How about I'll tell them about Dear Frida?
All right, go for it.
Okay, so we had been together for a little while already, and we were starting to get asked, like, when are you playing out? When are you playing out? When are you playing out? What's your band's name? And we still hadn't come up with anything. We made this huge long list of all these, what we thought were cool at the time, like badass, never been on the scene names. And now that I look back at them and I'm like, lame sauce. And
Lame sauce.
we had an old guitarist. He worked in IT, and we had a Google Drive that we shared all of our stuff back and forth with. So everybody could download their stuff or like upload their stuff into Google, and then everybody can access it. And we would see who was, recording their parts and stuff like that. And one night I went in and everything was named Frida. And like every single file in the entire Google Drive was named Frida. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck? So I messaged in the group chat and I was like, who did this? And the guitarist, man, like who was in IT? This is the part that like makes me laugh because I also work in IT. He's like, yeah, I was trying to name one of the files the name of the song, and it wasn't even called Frida. It was like Don't Fade or something like that. We were trying to redo one of Kyle's old songs. And he's like, yeah, I renamed every file in the Google Drive Frida for some reason, and I couldn't figure out how to get it back. And I'm like, what? And so I had to go in and I had to manually change everything back to what it was. And then we were like, well, what about Frida? And we had looked up and we were going to go by Frida for a minute. And then we just looked up because, you know, you don't want somebody else's name. And there was already an artist named Frida in there, same spelling and everything like that. And then I was like, what about, so the album that we were writing was actually about my divorce. And so I was like, what if we called it Dear Frida, as in like a Dear John or Dear Jane letter? And it's Dear Frida, as in like a breakup. It's a breakup letter. And
there you go.
Of course, they're all like, I don't know about that, but we like Dear Frida. I think Kyle was the only one that was actually like down with my reasoning. I think it's because he gets me.
Yeah, the Dear John idea that comes to mind. My fiance is a huge fan of Nicholas Sparks, so I definitely have to know what that is. But yeah. I also enjoy some of his romance movies. But my big question was going to be, do you guys know the artist Big Frida? Because that was the first thing I was like, oh man, that's so close to Big Frida.
Kill me now.
I don't.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So that's why we changed it to Dear Frida, because of that. It's like, oh yeah, that's too close, and we had to figure out like that.
I knew Kyle would know it. I was like, the musical mastermind probably had to skim through VH1 back in like 2010. Let's see that Big Frida and that stupid PB&J song.
Jam don't shake.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to look it up now because I'm curious.
It's it's a very flamboyant man, as far as I know. I don't know if they identify as whatever, but they are singing about some weird stuff, and it's the genre of bounce. They were called the Queen of Bounce.
Oh, so, I love that genre.
There you go. So here comes the next question: are you planning on incorporating bounce into your music in the future?
Because I mean, like, that'll make me bounce. So I mean, yeah.
Awesome.
That's would you consider poppy bounce?
Yeah, they are like super pop. They're not super pop.
No,
hyper pop.
Like we have a song called "Poppy Don't Know Nothing About Nothing," and it's a dance, song. So would it be like that?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We actually have some of that coming up in a little bit of our new stuff too.
Ooh. Let me go to your discography. Your first song, Caught in an Hourglass, could have a bounce remix.
Oh,
there's so much repeating lyrics on that one that it would work perfectly with a sped up beat. You know, get the EDM drop, like boom.
Oh, and see, we both love that kind of music as well. Like, we are an all genre, like, love mix in this band, and both of us have kids that are really into EDM.
Ooh,
excuse me. And so having that, like, my son who's 16, his favorite artist is the Fat Rat. And so having had to listen to so much of that, I'm like, ooh, we could incorporate some of that. Ooh. And then his daughter is really into Marshmello. And so knowing that we could mix some of that in with the metalcore, the metal, the screamo, all of that kind of stuff, just like everybody's doing it. And I mean, I'm not saying that we want to go like mainstream, but
yeah.
Well, let me actually throw that back to Brandon, part of the opening act, who interviewed you guys before. Shout out to Brandon and his incredible personality and really darn good questions, fella. That's what I'm going to say. He's still a kid. And
he didn't interview us like a kid.
It was so professional. But you said that one of your favorite concert experiences was A Day to Remember. One of the most popular songs that combined metal and EDM is A Day to Remember's collaboration with Marshmello, which is
so good.
Me.
There we go.
Yes.
Rescue Me. Yes. Ugh. That would be so cool to hear something like that. I would love that.
Okay.
Me too.
And that's my music nerd right there. That's it. It took me a while, but I was like, I know I was on a line somewhere. I was gonna say something. Immediately when you said Marshmello, I was like, that's it. First, my thought was Fat Rat.
Diggity.
Any relation to Dead Mouse 5 or Dead Mouse? I don't know if they're called that.
I don't know, maybe.
All right, because then you'll have a mouse and a rat on stage at the same time.
True. Very true.
Very different. All right. Would you guys consider your genre alternative metal, since you guys are so open to having different genres, or experimental metal?
You know, honestly, in any case, way, shape, or form, no matter how you throw it, it's rock and roll. That's really what we are. It's our brand of rock and roll, where we just take everything that we love and throw it all into a pot and then mash it up and then stir it up and just pee on it and then call it ours. But I guess alternative metal, when I think of alternative metal, is I think you're gonna go metal like quite a bit of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All of our stuff is though.
Yeah, so I'd say that rock and roll and hard rock and all that shit, that's probably gonna be the closest to what we do. We go harder than hell though when we hit our metal parts, but it's not like we're metal all the time. And the worst part about it is when you get into like with some of those elitists, they're like, "Oh, you guys are supposed to be metal. You guys aren't metal enough." And then you jump in with the hard rock guys, and they're like, "God, you guys are super heavy. My God, would you guys tame it down a little bit?" There's no happy medium.
Nope.
So, there's really not.
If we're gonna generalize ourselves, it's gonna be rock and roll.
Rock and roll. That's exactly what Shinedown considers themselves. So that works.
Yeah.
Motorhead was rock and roll, man. That was blurring the lines between heavy metal and punk rock. So I mean, it's whatever you want to call yourselves and whatever you want to identify as yourselves. If you say we're metal, sure, we're metal. If you say we're rock, sure, we're rock. But you know what? We don't really put a fine tip to it because we don't want to get pigeonholed. We like to have fun doing what we do. We want to be able to go out and have a punk song and then like a metal song and then go back to a hard rock song and then who knows, maybe we'll do like a country fusion.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Your history, you were talking about some incredible 90s classic artists when it came to country.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I cannot wait to hear what he's going to add to this band, knowing that that's the background. I love 90s country, by the way. Slide guitar is like one of the greatest things in the world. I love it.
Yep. I like Clint Black and Brooks and Dunn and Garth Brooks, George Strait,
Travis Tritt.
Reba McEntire. Yeah, Travis Tritt.
Reba.
Reba.
Oh, yes.
Even
I mean, there's some good older country.
You say Tim McGraw?
Yeah, man, he started
amazing.
Sorry.
You got her singing.
Can't get enough.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna have to do a Reba singing session after this. That's what's gonna happen.
So one of the things that I was going to mention with the 90s country is when you talk about Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, that is actually one, like, they are how I learned harmonies. Just listening to that stuff over and over. I mean, paired with the gospel music that I grew up with, like, that is how I figured out how like harmonics worked in music and vocals. Just listening, especially when it came to male female vocals, because it's slightly different than male and female.
I have a different story when it comes to learning harmonies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show you. I have it next to me here.
So whatever you're reaching for, we can't see it.
This wonderful movie, The Mask of Zorro.
Oh,
The
hell.
Mask of Zorro. Yes.
has a song called I Want to Spend My Life Loving You or something like that. And that song, it's in the end credits, has Mark Anthony and I can't remember the girl's name, but like both of them, their harmonies together. Also Disney. I'm a huge Disney guy, so that got me.
Same.
Aladdin,
Same.
A Whole New World.
Yes.
That really like beat harmonies into my already very musical mind. And I was like, okay, this is a really cool thing. And my mom was in choir at church, so she would always show me music, and I ended up reading it later on in time. But I was like, oh, there's so many lines to this. It's not just one part the whole time. So fascinating that you learned from Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. Do you remember what song that was that got you started?
It's Your Love.
It's Your Love. That is such a good song. I actually didn't know about it until my fiance gave it to me on a CD for our first year together. Yes, she got me into country music.
I love it. How long have you guys been together? Not that it's your interview, but just curious.
We celebrated 12 years last week.
Oh, hell yeah,
That's
man.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, we're madly in love, but we are getting destroyed by the economy right now. So we're figuring out, the wedding and all that.
Oh, totally understandable, bro. Totally. I get it.
But yes, I got into country music through her. It's Your Love, such a great song. I really liked their collab album that they put out, I don't know, 5 years ago or so. Did you go on the tour for that?
I did not.
You did not.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's gonna happen again. Hopefully. You got Tim
I hope.
McGraw's new album coming out in August, so super soon. Woo!
I love how much you know about them. That's adorable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anything that she got me into. We saw Joe Nichols a couple weeks ago. That was like my first country song that got me to cry. I was listening to the one she put on the CD, same CD, and these were songs that she heard that made her think about me or me think about her or whatever. So that was like the title of it. She's just the sweetest girl in the world. And so
That's cute.
I'll Wait for You by Joe Nichols, a very classic sounding country song, and it's very heartfelt. It's almost a Nicholas Sparks movie in itself, honestly.
Nice.
Yes, very, very good. And that's a full circle right there. All right, now I got to go to the question. I got to get Kyle involved here as the music nerd, as the super Metallica fan. Name every song they've ever made. No, I'm just kidding. That's the elitist mindset where it's like, oh, you like Metallica? Name everything they've ever made.
The t-shirt, name like 5 albums and tell me where the bassist lived at that time.
Try being a girl wearing a metal band t-shirt. They always ask me.
Oh yeah.
Always. But no, I know that Kyle could.
She always tells them off though. She's like, yeah, like totally listen to them.
Do you also enjoy the other of the big four? You like Anthrax? You like Megadeth?
Anthrax. Yeah.
Slayer.
Being a huge Metallica fan, like I'm not a huge Dave Mustaine fan, but they're epic and they're classics. Slayer, I mean, yeah, I love them.
I love that the Dave Mustaine feud like never died. The shit's been going on for almost 50 years, or maybe even longer than that right now. Like it just goes on forever.
And here's it always seems like it gets good, like they're all good and they love each other, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Dave Mustaine, yeah, I fucking hate Metallica. They suck.
Well, you know what they need to do?
It's so stupid, man.
I want a metal, hit 'em up. I want Tupac versus Biggie kind of shit right here. East Coast versus West Coast, Metallica versus Megadeth. Bring it on. This is the final thing to end the careers. This is perfect. Actually, I would love to watch them rap against each other because just just hearing James.
Only if it's freestyle.
Exactly right. Be like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And then
so
you
funny.
Like,
as for my stance, I have S&M right here with me. So
yeah.
I love this concert. Absolutely amazing. It actually is one of my favorite things about my favorite band is that there's a orchestral part to almost every single song. I love the band Red. I don't know if you guys have heard of them before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Red's actually pretty influential. So Um, when we started doing a chance to burn, I found like everything I wanted to do with like Dear Frida and every other band I've been in, I wanted to make it a big sound. And I love symphony parts. I love just adding in the whole orchestral portion to it. And we found numerous homes for that in that album. And actually going forward, we actually have quite a bit in a couple songs that are going to be coming out. But like it just the ability to make that soundscape rather than just a rock band, but also this like experience, that's what I love doing.
Awesome. And also you were saying that you like the symphonic build up to that as well. Have you
Yeah,
heard like these remixes that they've been doing, like Motionless in White, Star Set? They've
Oh
been
my God,
doing these
yes.
breakdown, like, sorry, stripped down
Yes.
remakes of songs. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
In reverse, it's so good with that. Like they take these songs that already kick ass and then strip it out and then just redo them with like symphony, piano, acoustic guitar, and
Yes.
it changes the whole mood of it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, the most recent
Hmm.
one they did a cover. What was that one? It literally
There's
just came out.
Resort,
Yeah, Last
Last
Resort,
Oh
Papa
yeah,
Roach.
Last Resort by Pop. I watched the so I was actually watching Papa Roach like react to the piano portion of it, and it's so fucking beautiful. Like I'm a sucker for the piano. The only thing that would have made it even better is if they would have just pulled a saxophone out, because I'm a big like gooey girl for a saxophone. Like I don't know. It's just stripped down versions of especially like hard rock or metal songs with powerful lyrics.
Yes.
Like it's just goosebumps, man.
That segues into one of my questions for you. With your background in music that hits in an emotional level, do you plan on writing an emotional piano ballad or releasing one if you've already made it?
Yes, we do have one that we do plan on releasing. We've been working on it since the Dear Frida days. Um, I am going to try not to get emotional when I talk about this, but 4th of July is a really hard day for me. My mom passed away in 2017 on the 4th of July, and I wrote a song um, about that, and it is beautiful. And we had tried putting it together during Dear Frida, but it really didn't match the sound
Mm.
that we were going for. And it is a ballad. And so we haven't really, like, we've had ballad-esque songs, but this one is pretty heavy hitter, and it's
yeah,
brutal. And
yeah.
so like the first couple of times that I even tried to record it, it took me a while to just get through the recording without bawling. So we have taken our time and we have revamped it, and we have I'm just gonna it's called World Falling Down,
Okay.
and it's changed, and the dynamic of it has stayed the same, but the orchestra that we want to be in it is just so we honestly like when we first wrote the song together, um we really didn't have the oomph in the computer.
Mhm.
Like the
Uh,
computers that we were working with just didn't have the processes and the cores to work with what were wanting, and all the power that was going to be going into this, and all of the dynamic to it. It
Yeah.
is going to take a lot. But now we have upgraded our systems, and Kyle has upgraded his computer and our recording systems, and it is coming. It is still a work in progress. I would not say that it's going to be released this year,
yeah.
but it will be a Chasing Supernovas release.
Yo,
Fantastic. And it's in honor of your mother, of course.
Yeah.
This is more emotional. I'm going to combine a couple things here. we've already discussed like Red, we've discussed EDM, we've discussed that kind of stuff. The same year Chester passed away. I know that Linkin Park, and obviously it's not going to hit you as much as someone very close to you, of course. But for me, it was like one of the biggest like losses in music. So I felt something from One More Light, and then what Steve Aoki did on the remix to it, like kept the vibe, but also
Oh
like
yeah.
made it more listenable for people that didn't want to cry.
Mhm.
And so
But
I was
still,
thinking,
those of us like that grew up with that
yeah,
are always still gonna
Uh,
continue to bawl
that was
about
that
it.
was a crazy year. But thank you for sharing your story. First of all, I appreciate the vulnerability, and I don't have any issue with anyone speaking their heart on here. This is literally about passion, about music, and if you don't have a song that has some kind of emotional value, what are you writing? Like what?
yeah. What are Buck Cherry? Come on, man.
Yeah, what are you, butt chair?
Please stop. Crazy Bitch was so emotional for me.
I don't know, man. I still feel like my darkest days really hit my soul when I heard Porn Star Dancing. There was nothing more emotional than that song. Just hearing Chad Kroger talk about strippers.
Exactly. Especially how he named each one off, like he knew them personally.
Yeah.
All right.
Trust funds, didn't he? Son of a bitch.
I was gonna say, did you know that we covered a Linkin Park song in honor of Chester?
I have not seen that. So if there
It's
is it
not
on
under
your
Chasing Supernovas.
Oh, there we
Dear,
go.
It is a
the-
Dear Frida release.
Dear
So you have to
Frida.
look it up.
I will have to look it up. I'm gonna have to play that at some point in this video because we have to make sure that people can understand the talent that was there from the start. I want to talk about talent next as well. Since I have just you guys, Kyle, how long have you been playing guitar? And wait, do you play guitar?
yes.
He's also the rhythm guitarist,
Rhythm guitarist and lead guitarist
vocals, and drums on some of them.
and secondary
I'm
vocal.
busy.
All of them.
Really busy during a show, man. Like there's times where I'm like playing the rhythm riff and then like doing a lead, but also like singing like harmony backups to Lindsay, then doing my part and then screaming like all within like 10 seconds. I'm busy as hell.
The ultimate challenge is do you play the saxophone? She needs that saxophone, man. Don't let her down.
I've been working on it. I have to figure out the whole configuration of attaching it to my guitar.
Attaching it like a flip over.
Beer holder, so that way it's all like flows together and we're good to go.
It's either that or you just bring Kenny G on tour. That's easy stuff.
So we were talking about that, man. Kenny is free for just a little bit, so we're trying to figure out ways of convincing him on. We figured nice warm blankets and like love songs would probably entice him to come along. And so we're working on that. We got some people in the works. Don,
Perfect.
if you're watching this, Don, work on that. Dude.
Speaking of Dawn, let's give a shout out to Dawn for letting this amazing thing happen where we were able to actually chat together. Dawn is one of the most awesome people. She is reaching out to every single person in every community, and she is trying to gain pure passion for music and this entire like renegade. Basically, she talked to me for like an hour about her experiences in the past with talking to artists or interviews and stuff like that. And she just loves the connection. She loves the experience live, and mad respect to anybody that reaches out to me and tells me they can help me find other bands like Chasing Supernovas. That is awesome. Absolutely amazing.
We love
Thank you,
her.
Don.
Oh
We
yeah,
love her so much, and
yeah,
she's much more than just PR to us. She has become very, very quickly family.
yeah. She is. She
That's-
is. Her and everybody at Massive have just been fucking amazing. Like
Yes.
we're extremely fortunate. Thank you very much for stalking us, Don. If you're watching, thank you. Um, but yeah, it was I don't know. It was when they reached out, it was like I said, we didn't expect any of that. And they're like, well, we've seen some of your TikToks and you're really good at shit posting. We like your guys' groove and the songs that you're making. So, you know, we'd like to work with you. And we're like, us? Okay, cool. So
Speaking of
Kyle is a
posts,
major shit poster.
yeah. Speaking of shit posting, I was trying to send my fiance a little post from you guys because I was like, oh, look at this, Little Harry Met Sally. I didn't listen to the fart sample that was over it, and I sent it to her, and I was like, this is the band I'm interviewing, and she was like, I don't like this, and I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was just a fart joke.
They're all just fart jokes.
just fart jokes. My God, there's so many poop jokes on our page. So many. I'd say that I'm embarrassed by them, but I'm the one that made them, so no, I'm not.
Wait. Hold on. Now I have to check this. Randy said he's the dank meme guy. Are you also a memer? Is that what we're saying? We got two
yeah.
memers? All
Of
right.
course.
It's
Yeah,
it's the
course.
never-ending battle between bassist and lead guitarist of who's
Dude,
going to take the
Except the
spotlight.
difference
we send each other memes all the time. All the
all the
fucking time.
time. Sometimes
Yeah.
they forget that there is a female in the freaking band chat, and then remember again that there is a female and that she's sometimes worse than them.
Yeah. I've seen some pretty good ones from her. It's been awesome.
Excellent. Well, I am so happy that you guys are so close to each other. You know, I've been talking
yeah.
to my friends that are solo artists, and some of them are just so intimidated by the band idea. They're like, I want to continue my solo thing because I don't want to have this, connection that's not going to work out and the people aren't going to follow through on their thing. But there are bands like you guys that literally you seem like best friends in the whole world, and that is just awesome. Even though they're not here right now, I'm going to definitely interview them on their own, but it's so nice to see that, and you're just so enthusiastic about it. It's so awesome.
And that's the thing is that's like me and Lindsay, we are best friends. We've been best friends for a long time. And the first time meeting her up until the time where it was like she asked me, she's like, please, can we just do this band? And I'm like, okay.
Finally warmed down.
Please.
Yeah. It was just like I don't know, I had a band at the time that it wasn't really going anywhere, but it was going somewhere, and then it just kind of, we're like whatever. And
Yeah.
so finally when Dear Frida kind of came around, we're just like, well, yeah, well, we can make this work, and it did. It's been an amazing trip ever since.
Awesome.
We haven't played Dear Frida since October of last year, and we still get asked to book shows as Dear Frida sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that, knowing that you
No.
are moving forward with this new name?
No,
new
typically
style?
we just tell them that we changed our name and have a different drummer, and then they're like, okay, do you guys want to play this? We're like, duh.
Yeah. And actually the music this time, like, we are taking a few Dear Frida pieces and incorporating it into Chasing Supernovas. But
We wrote
like,
them.
yeah, like there's so much more fun involved. Dear Frida had one sound that was kind of it, and then this just allowed us to go ape shit with it.
Well,
I do miss the screaming though.
I
Wait.
scream a lot.
Yeah, no. The breakdown on hold on, let me go with the song.
Razorblade.
I think it's is that Razorblade. Is that the one? Is that the one with the dialogue? And you're like, oh no, I thought it sounded like this.
No, that's Helena.
Yeah,
That's
Helena has a time machine.
Helena has a time machine. The best music video, the only music video so far that I have been able to catch. So I am excited to see more.
Oh yeah.
Wait till you see the Razorblade Crosswalk 2.0.
Woo!
You are gonna love it.
Helena was fun because like Lindsay, when she writes a song, like the lyrics or when she comes up with a melody for a song, she always does like da 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 da, and then like sends it to me. Which in the past, I won't lie, I'm like, why don't you have some sort of words or something like that? This time through, she sent it. I'm like, I'm keeping that. She recorded it, and so I put it in the intro of that, and then we just like all of our like a day to remember. They'll do like these little like break points where they're like talking in the middle of it. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, exactly. And we're like, well, shit, let's do that because I like that stuff too.
She's rocking out right now.
Sorry.
Such a good album, honestly.
Oh my god, I know.
Homesick.
I'm obsessed with them.
Absolutely. I saw them open for Linkin Park in 2015. They were incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got to see them last summer at this huge outdoor venue, and it was just I bawled my eyes out. They were they've been a bucket list band of mine for many, many, many years, and the fact that it actually got like Kyle made it happen for me and bought me the tickets as a surprise, and I got to go see one of my absolute all-time favorite bands with my best friend and favorite person, and it was surreal. It was awesome.
Awesome.
With Beartooth.
Oh my gosh, what a lineup.
Oh my god, it
was Central.
It was Bad Omens, Beartooth, and A Day to Remember. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Home Alone face. I could say that I didn't realize Jeremy did both vocals. My first song I ever heard from them was I'm Made of Wax, Larry, What Are You Made Of? And I saw the music video when they're playing that extremely epic game of kickball. And so when their drummer or bassist or whatever started screaming, I thought he was the other screamer. So when Jeremy did both parts, I was like, no fucking way. He's the vocalist and the entire band. Like, this is insane. For the longest time, I had it in my mind that, oh, no, there's two guys at this part because they're yelling at each other in the middle. But that was just acting.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt the first time I ever saw I Prevail in concert. I didn't realize that they had two vocalists. I thought they had one vocalist that did both the screaming and the singing, and it was not. It was two
You're
vocalists.
blowing my mind. Now, this is exactly the opposite of my A Day to Remember. I did not know that they had two vocalists. That's
now
insane.
You do.
I have lifelines next to me. I mean, I'll show you guys the whole CD collection. We'll be on for 9 hours, no problem. Nothing to do tomorrow, right?
Keep going. Nebraska. It's fine. It's cool.
All right, Lindsay, I want to know, how long have you been making incredible music with your voice? Because you have a beautiful tone to listen to, both in the quieter range, the softer range, and your power voice is so nice. I will say this.
Thank you. I have been a musician my whole life. I grew up with music in like every aspect of my life. My dad is a musician. My like upbringing, I grew up incredibly religious. And I was always the center in every music production, every music solo, every music everything at my church. And then when I got out of church, I stopped for a little while just because it kind of hurt. I was introduced to metal like a little in my early years, but it was always like 80s power metal. And so I never really got to listen to anything new or anything mainstream or anything like that until I became a rebellious teenager during my parents' divorce, like my dad and my stepmom's divorce. And I literally just started listening to it because I was trying to make her mad. And since we lived in a really religious household, my first attempt was Godsmack because of the name of the band. And everybody was like, no, you can't listen to Marilyn Manson. So what did I do? I listened to Marilyn Manson. They're like, you shouldn't be listening to Slipknot. So what did I do? I listened to Slipknot, and I fell in love with, for me, it's a lyric thing.
Mhm.
Like, if I don't understand the lyrics, I'm going to look them up, obviously. Back in the 90s, there were pamphlets in every album. So I just bought the album, look at the pamphlet, look at all the lyrics that were in them. And then I just realized why it hit me so much. And it was more about the lyrics and the bass and the drums and the kicking guitar. Like, it's always been, music's always been a part of me, but I let it go for a little while. And then it wasn't until I actually was married for 15 years. And I had never really had my own big purchase ever, like as an adult. And I worked at Guitar Center, and I busted my ass, and I saved my money, and I bought my first like big girl purchase. I bought an acoustic Taylor, and she was an acoustic electric, and that's kind of when I started singing again. I played her every single day I worked. I always went to the back room. I always went into the acoustic room. I'd pull her down. I'd make sure she was back in tune, and then I would just play her. And I remember, because Zombie by the Cranberries is like the easiest song to play ever. And that's one of the only songs that I can literally play and sing at the same time, until I figured out how to play Numb by Linkin Park. And then I used them as a mashup for open mic nights.
I think it's the
and
same
so
key.
It is. It's the same key and all 4 same chords.
Love the way you lie.
And
What?
so-
What?
So that's how I got back into it. And then I fucking met Kyle. And then he just happened to come into my store one day while I was working, and the rest is history, man. Like, I stopped playing and singing music for a long time until I bought my guitar, taught myself how to play it and sing it, and then met Kyle, and then I'm like, let's make music, please. And then I finally wore him down after like 3 years.
Well, that is an excellent story. By the way, what is the name of your guitar? You said she so many times, so I have to know her name.
I don't have her anymore, but her name was Betty.
Betty. There we go.
Yep.
Well, rest
Betty
in
and
peace.
Veronica, actually. So
Betty and Veronica.
Yep, Betty was my acoustic, and Veronica is my electric guitar that I got as an amazing Christmas gift from someone very special.
Awesome. Well, that is excellent that I was expecting you to say microphone, and when you said guitar, I was like, man, I really got to learn guitar.
Guitar is awesome. My
Everyone-
microphone is actually just right
right by you. It's invisible.
hold on a second. It is invisible. Oh, it's invisible.
In the theater.
It's in the theater. We'll find it.
It's in
It's
the
backstage. By the way, I want to say this, Kyle, you look mosaic.
I know, right? I don't know how I keep doing this. It's crazy.
Yeah, how did you do that? Why is your like whole head not in the
He's in shadow, and when the light doesn't hit you, it doesn't give you the full picture. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, dude, you're illuminated now.
I know.
Oh,
You're glowing.
you look better than me. This is not good. I'm gonna have to upgrade my shit. No, that's awesome though.
Towards the Mitsubishi dome overhead lights, it's very illuminescent.
But that is excellent. I'm so happy to hear both your stories and how much music and how much instrumentation you guys have both taken in over the time that you have been around. I mean, let's see, you have seen so many more decades of music. Like, you can actually talk about the 80s power metal. I grew up knowing about the 60s. I grew up on Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was what my parents listened to.
Are you serious?
Yes, that was my favorite thing.
Earth, Wind, and Fire was my first concert I ever went to in my whole life. I went to an outdoor concert at a music festival in my hometown with my dad. And that was the first, it was Earth, Wind, and Fire and Three Dog Night.
Oh, magical. You got to
It
have
was.
the best of Motown. Just truly one of the
And
greatest
see,
groups.
I love Motown.
So that's
Yeah,
what you need to include.
Kyle can attest to you to that,
True.
because
It-
I lived in a very gospel house, so we were allowed to listen to Motown,
Mhm.
and we were allowed to listen to funk and anything that was not considered demon music.
rock and roll.
Demon music. Yeah, I feel that. Like I said, Earth, Wind and Fire in Chicago as my dad's favorite. We also listened to Bee Gees. My mom listened to Hall and Oates,
Oh, yeah.
Billy Joel, and mostly CCM because we would listen to the Fish,
Oh
which
yeah.
was the radio
Oh
station.
yeah.
And yeah, so we got into that. I got into Michael W. Smith and Mercy Me and all that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
My first heavy riff, though, still goes to Chicago as 25 or 624, which is based on the riff from Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. So interesting fact.
Really?
Yeah, I had to learn that
Interesting.
Music Choice was a cool station. But yeah, that's a little bit of my story. So I didn't really have much of that explicit, dark, anything like that until much later when I got into Separate Ways by Journey. That really opened my ears
Yes.
to the heavier riff. And then the following year, I found Running with Scissors by Weird Al in our house, and I popped it in and listened to his cover of All About the Benjamins, which was called All About the Pentiums. As an IT person, you got to know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a hilarious
I don't
new
think I've
metal
actually heard that
mix.
one.
It's so cool. It's got heavy
Okay.
riffs and it's ridiculous. And by the end of it, it sounds like Rage Against the Machine.
Nice.
Yep.
And I guess you could say Beastie Boys. It's got that yelly kind
Oh,
of vocal.
of course.
And I was hooked on that. But much like you said, you wanted to piss off the people that were saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't be able to listen to this. This is wrong." And you're like, "No, it sounds better," because they hate it. My ex, who is just the worst person alive, I really hope that she's just rotting in hell one day. But either way, she was cheater, a horrible cunt, and yeah, she was just tremendously evil. And so I got into Eminem thanks to her because she hated any time that I liked his music. And I got so hooked. If I could show you guys my collection right now, it's insane. And I have way too much knowledge about him. I was a super duper stan, and he was my first concert that I got to see that I paid for myself.
There you go.
Yes.
Interesting.
Incredible. So, Kyle, we need to know your story. What rebellious music did you listen to growing up, or what were you told you couldn't listen to, and you were like, "I love it."
Oh man, so my story is a little bit different though, because like I'm from the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. And like I grew up on a ranch. I have a background in agriculture, and we were 40 miles away from town. There was one radio station in that town. It was all country all the time. And so that's how I got, Brooks and Dunn and all that stuff. However, when I was a little kid, my parents purchased a satellite dish, and we're talking like put it in your backyard. It could reach out to NASA satellite dish, and I was able to watch MTV when it first came out. It's like
Awesome.
Rat, Def Leppard, Poison. Those are all my favorite. Bon Jovi. Those were all my favorite bands. But after a while, my mom developed. Well, it was bipolar back in the day, but she was really schizophrenia. She was misdiagnosed,
Okay.
and she started to like not really digging on any of the rock and roll. So MTV went away, and so we listened to country. The first real heavy band that I got into was Metallica. I listened to them at 10, and I had heard the opening riff to Enter Sandman, and I thought this is the coolest shit in the world. And then from there it just went on, man. Like picked up like Godsmack and Marilyn Manson, the Mechanical Animals album. I picked that up, and that pissed my mom off like hardcore. But it kept going on from there. Like you pick up Slayer, and then like you have even on to now, like my taste of like used to be like only thrash metal or only groove metal or anything like that. Now it's like gent or like this deathcore shit and everything that came out. But like that's really when it started was with Metallica. And
Nice.
that's in all reality, I was a long time ago me and my friend Nate, we were going to start a country band, and then Nate kind of like dissolved, and I'm like, well, I'll just keep going. And I wanted to learn how to play guitar. When I heard Metallica for the first time, I'm like, I want to play guitar like that. And that's how I learned was picking up the guitar, and then like, basically I think it was a tab book full of like just the rhythm riffs for Metallica, and I learned all that stuff, and then I tried to emulate like what James was doing, like the little nuances with like the picking hand, and like mute, rhythmically muting the strings with your left, all that shit, and it just led me to what I have now.
Awesome. My first experience with Metallica, I don't know if you like this album, Reload. Do you like that one?
Dude, anybody that shits on Load and Reload has no respect for the band Black Sabbath, because that's who they were trying to emulate.
Okay,
Exactly.
good. Well, just making sure. There was a game on PlayStation. It was also on Nintendo 64 called Hot Wheels Turbo Racing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The intro song was Fuel. Yeah, bro.
Yes, it was.
So cool. And I didn't know that it was Metallica. Also, my first introduction to like new metal was Blood Brothers, Papa Roach, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Yes.
Yep.
That was kick-ass. Kick-ass.
That was. Yeah, man. I mean, like, just I think at one point in time, like, I think me and my little brother, we would pick up also like AC/DC and shit like that, and like because it said Hell and in Hell's Bells or Highway to Hell, Mom wasn't all about that. So just to kind of like be rebellious, and because the music kicks so much ass.
Yeah.
Like, AC/DC, one of the best bands ever. Yeah, they play the same song over and over and over again. It's like kind of like different turn every time, but fuck, they do it fucking amazing every time. Same with Slayer. But like once like we started hitting the late 90s, and like Korn and Limp Bizkit are huge. Like those are the bands I truly gravitated towards. That low, just deep, just raw sound. I still can't get enough, man. I still don't give a shit. Whoever knows, like, I love Limp Bizkit. They're fucking awesome.
They are a great band, and highly respected by Spirit Box.
Yep, I'm sure.
They toured together. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what a lineup.
Right?
Get the nookie, stick it up your ass, stick it up your ass. And then you go right into Circle with Me. Or Holy Dive.
Okay. I love Spirit Box.
You love Spirit Box.
They're
Okay.
I love Spirit Box. So so Courtney LaPlante, right? LaPlante?
Mhm.
I don't know whatever her last name is. Courtney is like the shit. And the reason why I learned how to scream was because when they came out as a powerhouse. Like nobody knew who they were, and boom, everybody knew who they were, and they were playing festivals. Like they hadn't even really played local shows or anything like that. They just came out of fucking nowhere. And first off, she is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So it's fun to watch. But her screams, like watching her, okay, I don't know if you've seen the music video for Rule of Nines.
My favorite song from their old days. Yes.
So my favorite music video of theirs was Rule of Nines, and I watched it and watched it and watched it and watched it. And then I listened to Holy Roller. I listened to the whole entire album and everything that's come out now. And then I'm trying to emulate that. And I'm wanting to not make sure I don't fuck up my vocal cords. Now, in that time, in Dear Frida, the guys didn't know that I was learning how to scream. And like, I wanted it to be brutal. And I'm 5'1". I'm this tiny little thing. I'm stacked and I'm like fun size, but I'm a little person. And so I'm practicing and Tatiana from Ginger, she has on YouTube, she has like vocal coaching on how to properly scream.
Yeah.
And so I watched all of those, and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And one day we're practicing at my house, and in our old practice space here in my house, we had to practice all all the boys were all in one room, like a bedroom, just jam packed in there. And then I'm around the corner and like in this like little tiny space area where the vocals could be.
Yeah.
And they were just playing a song that we really hadn't really developed anything on it. And they're just playing the riffs and they're just jamming out. And then I just like all of a sudden I just screamed, like, because I envisioned something for this song. And I just screamed and everything stopped. And I hear Kyle go, "Who the fuck was that?" And I just peeked my head around the corner. I'm like, "That was me." They're like, "No, it fucking wasn't." Like, it was. I was like, learning how to scream. And then ever since then, like me being able to scream like on stage with Dear Frida, and like people just don't expect it because you have this like bubbly, adorable, beautiful vocals and harmonies. And then just like all of a sudden I just stand there and I take my deep breath and I just do the thing. And they're like, they get stopped in their tracks. And it's amazing because you expect it out of big man guitar, badass Viking looking motherfucker. Yeah. And just when you hear him screaming and then me screaming at the same time, and it's like just this like dynamic duo, and it's like, I fucking love what I do.
Well, that is amazing. I was also going to bring up the first project that Spirit Box was part of, or Courtney was part of, was I Wrestled a Bear Once. Have you heard any of that stuff?
Yeah, we know.
Crazy
shit.
Screamy
Sounds
shit.
So different.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like the projects are two completely different things.
The place, man. Like, yes. Seriously, you want schizophrenia in a song, go listen to I Wrestled a Bear Once, man. Holy shit.
And their music video that they had on YouTube for a little bit, like, it wasn't great. But to see the change in Courtney,
her
like,
evolution,
to see how much she has developed and evolved into what she is now, like watching her on stage, like I'm trying to emulate that. And Kyle had said something earlier about how he was emulating James Hetfield in playing the guitars. I think what he forgets to remember is that he's not just emulating James's guitar playing. Like, when you see him live, it is incredible. It's like the embodiment of badassery, and he knows how badass he is because he's all over the stage. He is like mean mugging it and sticking his tongue out and like just fucking tearing shit up. And I think people forget, like, we're these adorable, like, soft, cuddly people off stage, but on stage we're totally different personas.
Yeah, it's important.
There's a shit ton of energy. It's
yes.
That ego is awesome, though. I mean, it's important.
Absolutely. And it's needed. Yep, it's important.
Yes. So let's go with your scream here. So what track would I be able to hear the scream on from Chasing Supernovas? Is it the one with the breakdown? The Helena?
For my screams? No, my screams aren't on there.
No, you too. We both did them.
On Helena?
You included my scream. That's right. So I get scared when it comes to recording my screams. I'm a chicken shit. Like, I don't mind doing it live. I love doing it live. It's so awesome because I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
But the second I press record, and I can practice record, and I can do that, and then I press the bar, and then I'm like, meow.
It's about the activation. Do you have a fry scream, mid scream? What kind of scream would you look for?
It's a vocal fry.
Vocal fry, my favorite. That's what I do.
So when I first started college, I actually went in as a vocal music major, and they had me doing opera. I don't know how to do a vocal fry. I don't know how to do any of that. So when I actually scream, it's full, like, chest, stomach, diaphragm, everything. Like, I'm like legitimately screaming as I'm doing it. By the time we're all said and done, just because of like all the muscle, like, contractions I have to do, I feel like a car wreck, man.
As long as it's not hurting your throat, you're doing it correctly.
Right.
Exactly, dude. And that's the thing is, like, with opera, you have to be able to fucking sing for, hours by yourself. And you have to project because they're not miking you up or anything like that. So yeah, like I figured out how to, I was like, hey, I can do this with my voice and it doesn't kill me. Hell yeah. We can do that now.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm happy you have professional training. I personally, I just, sang whatever I could hear. Like that was my singing by ear always as a kid. And
Yep.
my vocal style changed because as I got older, I had my voice change from tenor to baritone and a little bit of bass as well. And when that happened, I started singing like this so that I could
Oh.
hit the note. I could hit the note up here, but I can't, actually do it. So my vocal coach that we got for me in freshman year, he was like, "Let's just make sure you're standing correctly." And I was like, he's like, "Stand up exactly how you think you should." And I stood up straight up like an army soldier. He's like, "Wrong."
Yeah.
He's like, "Bend your knees. This is not good. You do
Yeah.
not want to stand up straight."
Yeah, you don't want to stand up like that.
No, because it ruins the way that you're going to exert the Do you hear the fucking fireworks behind me right now?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
the
here
music in my
too.
neighborhood. I can hear them, or I can see them going off right now.
That I didn't hear the siren, but if the purge has already started, like I said before, this is just not okay, guys. Not okay. Election year already happened. We're good. All right. Um, want to know? I got some fun questions at the end always, but I had questions for everybody else as well. Let's see. Have you collected any band's discography in CD form?
Yes, I have. I have had all of Metallica's albums.
Awesome.
Had is the key word here. Like had them in high school, and then as soon as I went to college, I couldn't take that shit all with me, and I came home and my dad had cleaned out my bedroom. It was now a smoking meat locker thing.
We get it. It's like a grand
It's
finale.
here
What the
too.
hell is going on?
Yeah, it's only 9:52. It's not grand finale yet. Come on now.
It seems
Yeah, man.
it's going on and on, man. Must be my town. Either way. So Metallica, what album did you keep?
I've repurchased all. I've repurchased all of them up to Saint Anger, and then just as they've come out, like since they're streaming, now I have access to all them all over again, and my car doesn't have a CD player.
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna stream it.
Yeah, if my car doesn't have a CD player, it's not my car.
Exactly. Well,
My car has a CD player.
Excellent. And do you have a collection of one specific artist or many specific artists?
The only artist that I have all the CDs is Poison the Well. I don't know if you know who they are. It is a 90s, early 2000s emo screamo band.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I've heard it
Yeah.
from Finn McKenty roasting them.
Probably. As far as like anybody else that I had the full discography, Kitty back in the
Kitty?
day. Yeah, back
Classic.
in the day, as soon as Spit came out, I was waiting. As soon as Oracle came out, I was waiting. And like just the whole, I don't know if you know anything about them, but like just that's how I scream, by the way, is like how Morgan Lander screamed in Kitty. So like the back in the day, the 90s, like girl scream. That's what I do on stage. And I've always wanted to cover a Kitty song. Come on now.
You could do it.
I know I can. I keep telling the boys I want to.
Just tell them it's karaoke night. Just have fans come on up and do a couple songs, then do karaoke the rest of the time. Be like, I love Kitty. Does anyone else love Kitty?
Yeah. No, we have a lot of things that we've always wanted. Like a lot of us want to do a lot of different things, and it's been awesome because we've tried out different things and we've tried on different covers live, and we just kind of want to do something that like matches the whole band and not just one person's opinion. Or else we'd be playing Primus covers.
But yeah, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
He's
as
into
far
that.
as like
Oh,
he's a bassist, of course he is.
Oh yes, of course. I have to remember everything about bassists. They don't talk much. That's all I got.
They don't talk much and they love Primus.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I have this. What? Oh, it only
It
shows
made you
you.
disappear.
Yeah, so I have this album, like this CD holder, whatever, and
Sweet.
then I have a really big one too. That when my Frank died. So Frank was my stepdad.
Okay.
He was married to my mom for 32 years, and he actually died in 2020. Him and I
Wow.
were really close. Yeah, I know I've had a lot of loss.
32 years though. That's a really long time together. And
Yeah.
that's like, how old was he when they met?
Well, they were married for 32 years and he died at 50. He died the day before his 55th birthday.
Whoa. Oh my
Yeah, and
gosh.
he was 3 years younger than my mom.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Anyways, so when he passed away, I inherited all of his CDs.
okay.
And so I keep all of those physical CDs. Just as a reminder. A lot of them, although, when I emptied out his disc, because he had 100 disc player and it was like a rotating thing. When I emptied that out, I realized that half of those fucking things were mine already that I had put in when I moved into their house in
Yeah.
2004. And I'm like, how did I not realize that he had my Simple Plan CD? Come on.
Oh, Simple Plan. What a great
I did
band.
end up getting a lot of my own stuff back. So that was nice. But
Awesome.
outside of that, I stream just about everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
Spotify, Apple Music. What do you guys use?
Spotify for me.
Spotify for me as well.
And Apple Music. I try to support whatever we're on, but there's a lot of these streaming services are a lot more user friendly than the others, like Spotify and Apple. They're like
Oh yeah.
And see, for me, I will always stream over anything else. But if it's a friend's music or if it's something that I absolutely love, I'll go buy it and then I'll put it in my music library. But I rarely ever get into my music library. So I'll buy it, I'll purchase it, and then I'll just stream it if I want to listen to it.
Excellent. And that's
Unless
actually
my son's using my Spotify, then I'll get onto my music.
it actually shows great dedication as a fan too, if you're going to say like, I love this album enough that I'm going to show that I love this album.
Yeah,
As opposed to just
absolutely.
playing it on repeat. I mean, playing it on repeat, they love that too. I mean, it goes right to their pocket in the middle of the night. You can keep that single going on forever and ever.
Yeah, I wish it worked like that. We've been like, shameless self plug. We've been doing our own. Like, I know that's horrible, but we just had one released too, and that's
No,
all I'm gonna stream.
it's
right
not a
now.
bad thing. You should be proud of your music. I don't understand. Some people are like,
absolutely, I am.
some people are like ashamed of like, oh, I can't hear anything because I just judge it. And I'm like, why?
No. The new release. So I'm gonna interject real quick. The new release that we just did with Razorblade Crosswalk 2.0. It is a song that is near and dear to Kyle's heart and also my heart now. I didn't write it. I got to help bring it to life, which was amazing. But just because I got to hear the original, like 2006 version, and to see the morphing that this song has had over the years, but to also realize that with Miles doing the production for this song, yes, it changed it. Yes, it wasn't exactly what we had sent to him. But the one thing that I will absolutely, above everything else, be proud of is the fact that they brought Kyle's vocals to, he brought Kyle's vocals up. Kyle tends to, when he's producing his own music, sometimes he doesn't realize that he is burying his own voice, unless it's a scream. But he has such a beautiful singing voice. And in Razorblade Crosswalk, you actually get to hear the dynamic of the two of us because we're equals in that song.
Yes.
And it's just chef's kiss.
It really is. And yeah, the newer version, the bass production specifically is very modern. It's a very modern, it's kind of like that crossfade like that
Yep.
kind of type. And yeah, the vocals, like there's drones. We got doubles on there. Doubles were in the original as well, but like you said, Kyle was getting a little drowned out. Also, the snare on most tracks was so loud, and I was like, wait, add a cowbell? This works, man.
I love doing that one live. Cody just goes crazy
Just
on
go
that
crazy.
cowbell.
Yeah, it's so cool because I was like, this is so fucking powerful. It's fire. I listened to your discography twice today because I always refresh myself before I go into an
Aw.
interview. Easily, guys. I mean, these are songs that can be, they'll get stuck in your head. That's what I'm gonna say. One of my favorite songs is the song about cheese. Who came up with it? It's awesome. Guys, if you don't know, they have a song called The Cheese Stands Alone, and it is the funniest fast food metal song I have ever heard because it's the only fast food metal song I've ever heard, and I was laughing so hard, especially with the little dialogue. I love the little ad libs you guys do.
Kyle, tell him how you came up with that.
So we were writing the album. I'm like, I'm not really keeping time as a factor in a lot of this. And she's like, God, the songs are so long. I'm like, who cares? Metallica has like a 5-minute, 6-minute, 8-minute song. And she's like, well, we're not Metallica. It's like, I bet you can't write a 3-minute song. I'm like, oh, I can't, huh? And I will do it. And I'm going to do it as a punk song. And literally like probably within 24 hours, I'd pull that shit literally out of my ass. And then we had it recorded and everything like that. And then as we're sitting there listening to it, like, God damn, this is actually good enough. We could throw this on the album. It's like that should be the show closer at this point.
We do it live.
Yeah, we do it live.
So is it based on like missing cheese on a burger? Was it missing cheese on a hot dog? Missing cheese on a nacho?
Missing the apple burger. It's basically a grilled cheese. It's just not grilled.
So just think the hamburger bun with a piece of cheese in it all by itself.
No burger.
But the like influence for this song, Kyle had introduced me to the song Pizza by Attila.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, I lied then. Yes, there's another fast food song, of course.
So, and that's kind of like, that's what I think of when I hear this song now.
Yeah.
Such a funny song.
Oh my God.
Attila's one of my favorite bands. Friggin' Franz is the man. And they're like cool dudes. And like I heard Pizza, and when she challenged me that, I'm like, oh, I know what I want to do now. I know what I want to do. I used to be in a band that was called the Raging Derelicts, and we made stupid songs up all the time. So this took me back to those days as well too. And however, it was just not as grotesque as some of those songs had gotten. So it was a welcome thing. And plus also too, it's an infectious song because like you have that whoa and you just want to sing along with it. So it's kind of anthemic.
Dude, it's so fun. It's so fun. Like Sum 41's, I think, second album or something like that. They had like that ending song, which was just like thrash or like hard. I don't know what it is. It was so cool. It was like heavy metal as opposed to the rest of the album. It felt like that. It felt like that feeling because you get to the end and you're like, oh man, what the hell?
Yeah. That whole like Iron Maidenish kind of shit. And I think if I remember correctly, the name of that song is Grab the Bull by the Horns and Fuck Him in the Ass. If I remember correctly. They reprise that. They do that shit.
Pain for Pleasure, I think.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the one that sounds like really cool heavy metal. I was like, yes. Nice. And then they took a whole album before they made Chuck. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. But
Chuck's a good album too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me make sure I'm not missing any big questions before we go here. Let's see. All right, that's a simple. You know what? Let's do it. Any questions for me? I've had so much fun talking to you guys. If you have anything you want to know, let me know. I'm an open book. I don't mind at all.
All right, Dan, if you could be one utensil in the kitchen, what would you be and why?
Oh, hilarious. Here's Brandon's question coming back at me. One utensil in the kitchen. All right. Blender.
All right. Why?
I'm an introvert. I'm very extrovert when I'm on camera. I'm very extrovert when I'm with close friends, but I'm introvert, so I'm not going to be used that often. And I can watch the rest of the things. I'm a people person that just watches people most of the time. I don't know how to interact too well, so I'm a blender.
Fair
They
enough.
only use me for smoothies and shit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Next question. If you were a hot dog and you were starving, would you eat yourself?
I would, of course, eat myself. I am, I don't know how to say this without being offensive, a fat pig when it comes to my eating habits. I am eating at least 12% of every hour. Like, it is insane. You guys are both on me. Okay. I'm at work, right? My coworkers, they're like, Dan's not eating today. What's wrong? Like, that's what happens. If I'm like not eating for an hour, they're like, Dan, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just listening to the podcast. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But most of the time I'm munching on a snack. I have a breakfast bar. I have to get another drink. I mean, like, it's always something. And tea right now, of course. Yes, delicious.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah,
Leftover energy
we're
drinks.
we're constantly asking each other, did you eat today? What did you eat? What did you have for dinner? What did you have for
Yep.
breakfast? Like, what did you have for lunch? Because I'm constantly living vicariously through like his eating, like, because a lot of stuff for his job, he gets to go to, like, he's a professional bar hopper essentially. And so
Oh,
he gets to go to all these awesome sports bars. And sometimes I feel like he feels bad for telling me what he got to eat. And he'll tell me, like, loaded steak fries or loaded like
Dude,
curly fries or something. And then he'll be like, oh, it was
we
terrible. It was so gross. You wouldn't love it.
dude, if a place wings, I'm so there. I'm so
Oh,
there. I love buffalo wings.
I'm like a dude when it comes to eating wings. Like, I have no shame. None.
that's how I am with
Like,
ribs, but I am a dude.
me fucking too. Like, I am not a sexy eater on a date. You're gonna get the real me.
That's
I love food.
I appreciate anyone that is actually themselves outside of the camera, right? This day and age where
Right.
everybody puts their filter on their fucking picture, I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, right. Put the camera underneath your chin. Feel yourself right there. Send that out to the public. I bet you can't
Don't
do
get
it.
me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love a good filter. I love a good filtered photo. But poor Kyle, being my best friend, gets a lot of
Yeah.
that. A lot of it.
40-year-old dude fucking like photos like sitting down there with the camera down by his crotch, sitting in his lazy boy.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I don't know anything about
Hey, it's all
I
good.
don't know
Also,
nothing about that.
speaking of food, speaking of bar food, speaking of all that, they have an awesome restaurant over by me. When you guys come to Chicago, which
Yes.
you know, when you're hitting
Oh, we
that
are.
1 million subscriber mark, I know, like a couple months away, right? You want to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure that your first tour, when you're opening, or you know, when Metallica opens for you, make sure that you guys stop in Chicago
Fuck.
and go to a place in Schaumburg, Illinois called Kuma's Corner. We play hardcore metal music while you have kick-ass food, burgers based on metal music as well. The Metallica burger, the Iron Maiden, the Megadeth, all of that, and the most delicious macaroni and cheese. But yeah, we keep it
Yeah.
hardcore.
Oh,
It's sick.
Oh,
damn
yeah.
it. Why do you have to say macaroni and cheese?
With bacon and scallions.
Yes.
All right, bad girl, bad boy day. We're gonna go
Yeah.
to Schaumburg, Illinois, and we're gonna have a bad girl, bad boy day, and we're gonna
Yep.
eat burgers, and we're gonna eat mac and cheese, and we're gonna feel like garbage for 24 hours, and
But
it
you're-
will be worth it.
You're gonna rock out to some
At that point,
intense
dude.
screamy music.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
And snorting bacon, because I mean, if we're gonna like go into full debauchery mode, we got to do it the hardest way possible.
Oh, yeah.
Snorting bacon.
Fuck
It's the
yeah, dude.
quickest way to the bloodstream.
I'm gonna freebase nacho cheese too.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This was an awesome interview. And how can we, as fans that are listening right now, all of you guys that are still here, you're absolutely awesome. If you are, if you aren't, go fuck yourself. Other than that, how can we help you guys? How can we support you? What is the best way to get you guys onto the map to be with the big guys?
You can check us out at our own website. We have all the links to all the streamings and YouTubes and all that shit on there. It's www.chasingsupernovas.com.
Nice.
Go to the best part about it is we don't have a name that is like got weird spellings and shit like that. Literally Chasing Supernovas. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, Pandora. We're on Facebook. We're on the TikToks. If you want to see some good fart jokes, go to TikTok. And what else we got in Instagram?
But we're on Instagram and we do the tweetering.
The tweetering.
Sometimes
we don't really
I do
the
the tweetering
very well. We suck at social media sometimes.
I don't know how to work with Twitter, so it makes sense.
Right.
I know how to share a link on it.
I can't even see who's mentioning me or tagged me or like I want to fight with haters, like all these other awesome people that are like, oh man, I got so many haters, and I'm like, give me one, I want one.
I just want one.
I just want one hater, because if you have a hater, they be looking at your shit.
Yep, that's your number one fan right there. You give them everything and nothing.
Yes, and nothing.
But let's see. Do you guys, are you on Tidal? Did you sign with Jay-Z?
We're independent as fuck.
Yeah.
Awesome though.
For now we are, but we're open to offers.
Yeah, if you got money, we'll come and we'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, remember they have an easy way to get Kenny G at your wedding, so please make sure that you are following this band. Figure out the path to success. Thank you again, Chasing Supernovas. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for being here with me, and all of you guys that are listening. I hope you have an awesome day, an awesome 4th of July. Had an awesome 4th of July. At this point, this is coming out this weekend, and stay safe out there. Peace.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for tuning in to the Media Man Dan podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening, have an awesome day, and stay safe out there. Peace.